Peace, my family, and right back to all those coming out of that good cocoon for the first time. Welcome. This your girl, the butterfly. We about to take off. Let's fly. Just want to send you all the good healing energy your way. Peace, love, happiness, harmony, and abundance. Hope you guys are out there keeping your mind right in that good mind. How y'all feeling today? Hope you guys are most definitely moving on up in your higher natures and cleansing. Oh yeah, cleansing the lows. I came out here today to express, and again we're sharing the Holy Tabernacle Family Guide. This right here will certainly help you on this good journey within. So with that being said, family, let's get started. And it reads, question, who are we? Question. And this is Dr. Malachi Zurich's answer. We are the Nubian nation of Moors. We call ourselves Moors because the historical recordings, those historical records worldwide, where you find the Latin word morenum, which meant black, but in the sense of supreme balancement. Not to be mistaken with Negro, which is strictly the color black, not the star of God, before creating the light. Genesis 1:2-3. The Romans used Negro as far back as the New Testament in Acts 13:1, where Simeon, one of Jesus' disciples, is being called a nigger or nigger. When you look into the Greek, you get Negro or nigger, and they give the meaning of the word black as used for the color in today's dialects, derived from the ancient Romans as Latin and Greek. Being all of his story is recorded in these languages, and not in Arabic or Hebrew, then whenever they have reference to our rights, what we owned and what we did as civilizers of all of Europe, on all of the European coat of arms, you will find us as a race, not being called Negro or African or colored or Nubians or Afro-Americans, but rather Moor. The word Moor is sometimes spelled from the French Moor, coming from the ancient Romans Greek Moros. The Greek word for black is melanis or melah, from which was where they get the word melon for melanin. So it is very important that we identify with what can be found on documents, if we are to reclaim our rights and the property and riches that belong to us. You must be found somewhere on document. There are millions of documents that identify you as Moors, not to be mistaken with the Muslim of Morocco, for Islam invaded that country in 17th century. The people there were already dark, olive-toned skin and woolly hair, simply Moors, not to mention on this very soil American Moors as Amics were already here. Dark olive-toned, woolly-haired people, not immigrants, but indigenous. Did you know that we had a Moor president before George Washington, 1732 through 1799 AD, who became president in the year 1789 AD after being a general appointed by a Moorish president named John Hanson, born April 3rd, 1721, and died November 15, 1783. John Hanson was a Maryland patriot. During the American Revolution and the first president of the new nation under the Articles of Confederation. A member of the Maryland Assembly from 1757, he became active in the resistance to British tax measures in the 1760s and was an early supporter of independence. As a delegate to the Continental Congress 1780 through 82, John Hanson signed the Articles of Confederation and played an important part in persuading New York and Virginia to give up their claims to Western Territory because he was elected by Congress as President of the United States, and Congress assembled in 1781 AD. Hanson has sometimes been called the first President of the United States. According to the American Heritage Dictionary, the meaning word for more, they tell you it means more, one, a member of a Muslim group or mixed Berber and Arab descent, now living chiefly in northwest Africa. 2, one of the Muslims who invaded Spain in the 8th century and established a civilization in Andalusia that lasted until the late 15th century. And it goes into Middle English, more from the Old French and medieval Latin, Maros, and then it stops, right? So it goes on to say, so as you can see, they have made more with Muslim, or synonymous with Muslim. The trick is that Barbaros mixed with a people, and the Arabs mixed with this or with these people, which is why there are so many light-skinned, straight-haired people in Morocco. The Arabs are descendants of the Joktan, son of Ibrahim, Genesis 10:25, and the Ibra is where they get the word Hebrew from. They mix with a Caucasian named Bathsheba, daughter of Laman, of the tribe of Gilead, of the Hitthites. Genesis 10:15. From the cursed seed of Canaan, Genesis 9:25. You'll find their complexion described in Leviticus chapter 13 and 14, as well as their yellow, thin hair, blonde hair, Leviticus 13:30. This is not racism. This is biblical facts. So as your original Arabs who were Hebrews from Iran, later from mixing became what you see today as pale-skinned Arabs with straight hair. The original Arabs were dark, olive-toned skin with woolly hair. Then you have the Berbers, a member of northern Africa, primarily Muslim people living in settled or nomadic tribes from Morocco to Egypt, speaking any of the Afro-Asiatic languages of Berber, and Berber is from Arabic Barba, from where you get the word barbarian. These are Caucasians who invaded, took over Morocco and all of northern Africa, coming from Asia and mixing in with the original Africans. Thus, Afro-Asiatic, thus many Moors, meaning by race, mistakenly influenced by Islam, call themselves Asiatics. Asiatic is from the word Asia, an Arabic word for Asia, meaning Orient, which means the rising of the sun. Their land being after the Persian Gulf, on the other side of the Tigris and Euphrates, where our land ended. Our land extended from the shores of Africa. Our land extended from the shores of California all the way throughout South America and the Caribbean islands and all the islands in South Atlantic Ocean, and extended all the way to New Mexico, and as far as the Tigris Euphrates, which means from the Pacific through the Atlantic on over. There was no division between North or South America and Africa and Arabia, and there was no Red Sea, and there was no such thing as the Middle East. All of that was one land mass called God Nawa. Later, after the continental drift, this side became a land, North America. Lower part became Animax, South America, and to the east you had Southern Africa, and then to the Persian Gulf. All of the people there were what Latin speaking historians recorded as Moors. If we don't use our name that's on the deeds of our land, but rather pick up geographical names like Nigerian, Ethiopian, Egyptian, Nubian, Sudanese, or even use slang names like Afro-American, West Indies, Africans, Negroes, or use religious names like Muslims, Hebrews, Christians, Hamites, or tribal names like Israelites, Ishmaelites, Moabites, Tabaz, or nicknames, 5%ers, NOI, Ansar Allah, Sunni Muslim, Hebrew, Israelite, Nation of Gods and Earth, Moorish, Science Temple, and the likes, Israel Church. We will not be entitled to the due process of the law. You should know the Constitution, the amendments of the Constitution. And if we continue to speak about the Emancipation Proclamation, we will only be talking about those of us who were kidnapped and brought over on what is called slave ships. Those of us that were already here before what's called the continental drift have property right here. So right is right and truth is truth. If Prophet Noble Ali, 1886 through 1929, pointed out a truth that all the rest of us who call ourselves leaders and say we are sincere about the facts should acknowledge, then once we find out that he is right and exact about our race and nationality, then I, for one, am not ego tripping or so self-righteous that I cannot concede the truth. Truth is truth. We are Moors. We must use this in order to inherit or reclaim that which is rightfully ours. The flag of Morocco as used today, red with a green interlocking 5-pointed star, is just that, the flag of Morocco, not a universal flag of the Moors, which is black, red, and green. And you may add on it the symbol of your choice, or you can have your own clan, tribe, religious group flag. But his story and our story proves that this flag was introduced to Morocco in 1912 AD. First, the flag was a solid red flag, which came in the Almanites and has nothing to do with George Washington chopping down a cherry tree. There were Moors who came over here from Morocco, and their flag flies in Washington, D.C. The Morocco flag, this does not go for all of us. They are the indigenous people from here, and it can be found in documents. They are exempt from the Jim Crow laws. So these Almoravids invaded Morocco beginning in 17th century from the descendants of the king of Morocco, King Hassan II, son of Muhammad, who himself was a pale Arab with straight hair and more Caucasian than the original Moor, meaning he is either Berber or Arab invader. They are the ones who introduced the red flag and then interlocked the 5-pointed star, which is called the green Selalamin star, introduced in 1912 AD when Morocco was but under the French rule and added to the red flag that you see today. The red flag with the white star encrusted has used by the Nation of Islam and taught to be our flag is none other than a Turkish flag, as their founder master Prophet Muhammad was a descendant from the Turks. That also is not our flag. However, Marcus Garvey, as taught by Duz Muhammad Ali, who also taught Prophet Nobuju Ali, who taught W.D. Floyd, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, they raised the flag of Mahdi of Satan, Muhammad Amin al-Ahmadi, 1845 through 1885 AD. The word Satan comes from the word Aswad, from where Aswan comes from, the seat of Karnak in ancient Egypt. The word itself, Sudden, means in English black, and being there is no Arabic word for Moor. The original Moors were called Sudanese or Nubians, but not on documents in the West. So the flag that was introduced in America by Duz Muhammad Ali, 1866 through 1885 AD, an Egyptian Nubian, was none other than the black, red, and green flag with the spear of the Hadenawa tribe, called the Fuzzy Wuzzies for their thick woolly hair, today called afros, and the upright crescent of the West, being we are a combination of many denominations and beliefs, and we use our original flag, the black, red, and green, with the holiest of all symbols, the sun as the 6-pointed star, the crescent as the moon, and the Ankh as the key to eternal life. And this is our flag as the Nubian nation of Moors. Alright, now, so that right there was the end of that heading. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. If you want to read this yourselves, we're just so much encouraged. You should check it out on the channel. And again, be nourished and inspired. Alright, now, so I'm going to leave it at that for now. Do your research. Alright, now, I'm going to leave it at that, okay? Again, I want you all to know that you are loved beyond this world and in it. Begin to spread the love one to another. Be the peace that you seek. Release. I'm Master Teacher Dr. Malachi L. Peace, Shalom, Hashuk, Divine Love, Family, and Wadu. And it's all